Picture this. China once ruled the seas. Vast treasure fleets sailed across the Indian Ocean, carrying silk, porcelain, and more. No one on Earth could match them. And then they stopped. The gates closed. The ships vanished. Why would a great empire turn its back on the world? This is the story of the Ming Dynasty's Great Retreat, and how that still haunts China today. From internet firewalls to global strategy, echoes of this ancient isolation still shape China's place in the world. In the 1400s, under the Ming Dynasty, China was the center of things. Admiral Zheng He commanded colossal treasure ships. Some so big they were like floating cities. Many ships were over 400 feet long, ships that stunned the kingdoms they visited. China seemed destined to dominate the oceans. But suddenly it all stopped. The imperial court, fearing foreign influences, pirate raids, and internal unrest, issued the Haijin, or the Sea Ban. Overseas trade was restricted. Contact with outsiders was limited. What made this so remarkable was the scale of what China walked away from. Zheng He's fleets weren't just trading vessels. They carried diplomats, scientists, translators, and engineers. Projecting Chinese influence across half the known world. When the voyages ended, that network collapsed. China turned inward, convinced that closing the gates would keep the empire safe. But history had other plans and would prove the Ming emperors wrong. Behind their walls, the Ming focused on consolidating power, rebuilding the Great Wall to defend northern borders, and keeping a closer watch on coastal provinces. It was a gamble, and one whose effects would echo for centuries. While China retreated behind its walls, the world changed without it. In the Age of Discovery, Europe's ships pushed into unknown waters. They forged colonies, mapping continents and reshaping global trade. Imagine the contrast. While Ming officials debated the dangers of foreign contact, Portuguese caravels were rounding Africa, Spaniards were claiming the Americas, and Dutch traders were planting flags across Southeast Asia. The world was becoming connected, but China was no longer at its center. By the 19th century, the consequences of isolation became devastating. When Western gunboats arrived demanding access, China wasn't ready. The Opium Wars forced open Chinese ports, and China was forced to sign away territory. This began what China remembers as the century of humiliation. Even today, this trauma runs deep. China's leaders and its people remember what can happen when outsiders impose their will. Centuries later, you can still hear the Ming Dynasty whispering beneath modern policies. For example, take the Great Firewall. Did you know China's internet operates like a digital fortress? Just as the Haijin Edict. Once controlled China's ports, today information is tightly managed. The goal is to protect stability and identity. Look at China's concern with technological self-reliance. From AI to semiconductors, China is racing to innovate at home, avoiding dependence on foreign suppliers. It's a lesson carved by history. Control your destiny, or someone else will. Even in diplomacy, China walks a careful line. It engages globally, but on its own terms. It is choosing bilateral deals and controlled partnerships over open integration. And there's something deeper too, a sense of pride in preserving a unique identity. Centuries of shaping its own path without outside influence, left a cultural instinct to define Chineseness on China's terms, an idea that continues to influence education, governance, and even technology policy today. So the past isn't gone. It's alive in every decision now. Here's the paradox. China today is more connected than ever before, but the instinct to protect sovereignty at all costs still runs deep. Think of China's Belt and Road Initiative. This involves railways, ports, and pipelines stretching across continents. In some ways, it's China reclaiming an ancient role at the heart of global trade. But this time around, China wants to set the rules, not follow them. At the same time, domestic control remains of primary importance. Security, stability, and unity always come first. Even rapid economic growth is carefully managed to avoid chaos from outside, a phrase you'll find repeatedly in China's historical archives. It's a balancing act, opening doors just enough to gain influence but never so wide as to lose control. It's a lesson learned from the Ming dynasty, and one China hasn't forgotten. History isn't dead. It lives in the choices nations make today. China's story proves it. The Ming dynasty's decision to turn inward still shapes China's worldview. Caution, pride, self-reliance, and determined to not be at the mercy of outsiders. The walls may have come down, but their shadows remain. Join us next time as we uncover more stories where the past explains the present. If you enjoyed this journey where history meets today's headlines, make sure to like, subscribe, and share.